good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this press conference with DG Grossi. The board meeting is still going on,
yes.
But we will hold this press conference, and
yeah.
the DG will give an opening statement before we take
Good afternoon. Thanks for coming. You know, normally I like to go direct into questions, but I felt that it might help if I provided a little bit of background on what has been happening, on what I did these past few days in the Gulf, and in particular the situation at Baraka. This episode is a very serious one, and it must be taken. I mean, any attack to a nuclear reactor, of course, a nuclear power plant is very serious. In this case, it was, and it was, as I mentioned now to the board, a direct hit of a quite big drone with a very strong payload that crashed into the wall of an electrical installation very near to one of the reactors, Unit 3, which I could see. It drew a very big hole. There was an explosion. And of course, immediately and in practical terms, it caused the stoppage of one of the units because it no longer had external power supply. So the need to perform a complete assessment was then, of course, obvious. And what I would like to show you, if I may, this is Baraka. You remember, I like the traffic lights system that I shared with you at the time of Zaporizhia and other places. And I want for you to have an idea of what the situation is. These are the famous seven pillars. So the physical integrity, of course, on the day of the attack was affected. Now there are repairs ongoing. Safety and security systems, of course, were interrupted. Now it's not green because the repairs are quite important, and not every system is up and running. In terms of the operational conditions of the staff, I could talk to them. I informed the board that I spoke with the shift that was there at the time of the attack. They have been trained by the agency, so they were very satisfied to see us there. We had a very good conversation, and this, I think, is good. External power supply is not completely repaired. There's no problem with the supply chain or the other aspects. So I wanted you to have an idea of what is the situation there. In our assessment, very serious event, very good, very professional reaction by the operator, which is really a young operator. So they were, I think it's fair to say that it was a test by fire. And they reacted quite well. You may have seen that I was in other countries as well, because the concern all over the Gulf is very clear. So I was in Kuwait. Kuwait, we arrived just after an attack, and after we left, you saw what happened at the airport of Kuwait. There's no nuclear implication there, but I just mentioned it in the context of what is a region under great commotion, I would say. Then, of course, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, and Saudi. So I wanted to give you these basic elements that might help you in assessing in general what is the situation. So I stop here, and I'm at your disposal for any more pointed questions that you may have.
Thank you very much. Did you answer? We have any questions?
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, I'm just going to the Iran nuclear program because from to Iran program.
Iran.
Yes.
Yeah.
The agency believes that believes that Iran did not engage with it during the period. And what specifically are you asking Tehran to do now? And what is the main obstacle to resuming full verification? Thank you.
Well, obviously, there have been a number of attempts to re-establish our verification activities in Iran, both after the 12-day war and since the last military episodes this year. The issue here is multiple because Iran has a number of obligations in terms of informing us and giving us access for our inspection work. It is clear that under war circumstances this is not possible, but there has been quite a long ceasefire. We were able to perform some activities in facilities that they chose, like the Bushehr nuclear power plant and other facilities in Iran. So obviously there is an element of discretion and in terms of what they allow us to see and not. And as you all know, the obligations, the legal commitments by Iran still apply under any circumstance. So yeah, I would say this is the situation. And if you are asking about obstacles, I would say that there is this current situation, the conflict, the ongoing war. I mean, there is a ceasefire, but the war is still on, technically speaking, with Israel and with the United States. We have been taking part directly and at times indirectly in conversations amongst them, but I would say that these stand out on the part of Iran, of course. For us, the possibility of engage is always there and should always be there. Thank you. Francois.
Hi, Digi. Since you mentioned the US-Iran talks, what's your sense of where we are right now, both in terms of how close we are to a ceasefire extension and whether this idea of a sort of a 60-day time frame to reach some kind of nuclear agreement is realistic? Maybe just start with that, and I have one follow-up on that.
Yes, well, of course, as you know, we are not a party to this current process, but we are in contact separately with both. Our sense is that they seem to be pretty close to agreeing on what I would describe more with regards to the nuclear, because the other things are not within my purview, to a sort of a framework, organizational, I would say, structure to give themselves time to look into the different problems. So I would say it is a distinct possibility that we will have at least that, and then we will see.
And since there's some talk of there's some discussion of a possible resolution at this board, like how would that impact the bigger picture of these diplomacy between the two sides, do you think?
I'd rather abstain to commenting on that one. It's a member state issue, and if they want to have a resolution or not. For me, what's important is not to lose focus on the consultations that are taking part, because and in this, I think the solution for this is a diplomatic negotiation, and of course, other things could be expressions of, appeals and for Iran to do what it needs to do. Thank you.
Thank you. This is Stephanie Lichtenstein reporting for the Associated Press. I would be interested to hear your assessment about the highly enriched uranium that is believed to be located inside Iran at various sites on the ground. whatever happens and whatever kind of a deal is going to be struck, maybe at some point in the future, from your assessment, what is technically and realistically the most realistic option? Is it to destroy the material, dilute the material, or on the ground inside Iran, or move it outside of the country?
Well, first of all, thank you, Stephanie. First of all, it is clear that this issue remains central to any solution, to any agreement, to any understanding. It's not going anywhere. We have to address this issue. And what you mentioned are all alternatives. They are technically possible, either exporting it directly, or diluting it and then exporting, or leaving it in country under the agency's control. It's a political decision. It's a political decision. Technically, it is possible. There are, of course, certain relative technical difficulties or technical consequences of certain actions. Of course, to take it as is, it might be more complicated. I said this publicly because it's in gas form. It's 60%, so it would rather be more, I would say, more difficult, more sensitive to move it in this way. But it's up to them. For the agency, we are a service. We are there to make sure that everything happens in a safe and secure manner, and that it is observed. And let me say that in terms of all these alternatives, we sometimes forget one issue. We have to go there first and check the amount, because it's been a long time, and without a clear baseline, the non-proliferation value of taking it out might even be relative. If there is a part, 40 kilos or 50 kilos or whatever, which is not there, then we will have a problem, or they will have a problem, because an agreement might be less, I would say, probable. So this is why the return of the agency, in whatever circumstance, is the prerequisite for anything. We have to go back, reestablish what is the situation, and then, of course, what we did in February and on other occasions, we have given our technical assessment of what is implied in each alternative. The agency has verified before downblending campaigns in Iran, as you all know. The agency has already verified export of nuclear material as a result of a political agreement before. So we can do all these things. We have all these capabilities. We know where this can be done. So the menu is quite big. It's up to them to decide what is the best combination, which is acceptable for both.
Thank you. Jonathan?
Jonathan.
Hi, DG. Jonathan Tyrone, Bloomberg. You convened a trilateral meeting with the representatives from China, Russia, and Iran today. What can you tell us about that meeting? I mean, are there kinds of technically credible verification ideas that are being broached that you can share?
No, Jonathan, I did not convene it. They asked to see me. Basically, I think it was a meeting for them to reiterate their basic approach to this matter, and in particular, what they consider the necessity for me. I'm trying to interpret what they say, to recognize that it's very difficult for Iran to comply with its obligations in the current circumstances. I reiterated my points, and it was basically this.
Okay. And then a brief question on nuclear safety. You were at an SMR groundbreaking ceremony, I believe, on your recent trip.
Yeah.
Can you speak to the safety concerns of the nuclear industry? Obviously, there's this push to deploy thousands of SMRs around the world. And yet, right now, in the last couple of years, we've seen attacks on reactors in Ukraine, Iran, UAE, and Russia. So, I mean, what's the business concern about the nuclear renaissance? I mean, this is establishing a norm.
Yes, it's a very valid point. I don't see an immediate impact on any decisions being taken, but the issue is being raised, and I must say that there is in general an impression that the agency should be playing a very important role to try to prevent this, as if, in a certain sense, the industry recognizes that we live in a world of conflict, and there's going to be a lot of, perhaps not necessarily attacks on nuclear power plants, but war has returned. There are lots of problems. So what I feel is a great emphasis on what we are doing, what we should be doing, how to support the agency. In a certain sense, thinking that the agency is a last resort, is an ultimate defense against this, which may or may not be the case. I should point out, because in some cases, or in most of the cases, military action is military action. But I think the realization that for all of these things to mature and to happen, like you are saying, the role of the global nuclear watchdog, if you want, is going to be very, very important.
But let me just push you one last time.
Please.
So, I mean, in IAEA terms, does that mean that there needs to be a new safety standard? Are you in discussions about updating the safety standards of how reactor SMR developers should be preparing for the possibility of conflict? That, you know, there needs to be education and standards about how people deal with this possibility?
Well, as you know, the one good thing about the nuclear standards is that they are under constant review. You know, because you know this house very well, that we have the commissions, the safety standards, committees and subcommittees, and so the regulators are constantly looking into this thing. What we don't see a need for an overhaul of the safety standards system. What we are going to be seeing is an increased emphasis, I would say, on emergency preparedness and response, which are practices, which are standards. I told the board today, I traveled with my director of the IEC, of the Emergency Centre that we have here, because what we see is that we are going to be checking how the system is reacting to situations like this in a nuclear power plant that never. I was talking to the people, you can imagine, the UAE. They never imagined in the wildest dreams that one day Baraka would be attacked. So and the system responded quite well. But I am sure that there will be analysis and evaluation. This is what I offered the Emiratis, and I think they are interested. There is going to be, for example, a further look into the layout of external power supply lines. This is a very, very clear point where we are going to be looking. You see, I just showed you the traffic light chart, and it's taking some time. So they are operating and stuff, but sometimes the connections and interconnections were not thought for situations where loops, loss of outside power, could happen more frequently. So to be continued.
Stephanie had one more question.
Yes, thank you very much. On this Baraka nuclear power plant in the UAE, how long after the strike on May 17th did it actually take before offsite power could be restored? Is it hours or days? And if I may connect this to Ukraine, the situation at Zaporizhzhia, why did it take so long to negotiate this recent ceasefire? What has prevented an agreement
Yes,
there.
yes, I can
It's
tell
been
you.
a long time. Yeah.
Two things. On the first, it was a matter of hours. It was a matter of hours, between 9 and 12 hours. But I should say that the repairs still continue. All right? So the plant is not operating at the moment. They are looking at certain things. But they were able to come out of the emergency situation quite soon. That did not take them so much time. And in this sense, I praised them. They were very fast. They were on the ball quite clearly. The second, it took 2 months. And the thing is that the damage is on the upper part of a number of pylons, the towers, that are very near the control line. So that made it was like, like the special case of something difficult because of the exposure, because of the ability of one or the other to maybe target the technical experts. So there were lots of conversations related to the different parameters, the time that this will take, and the exact geographical coordinates. That these ceasefires are very complicated to negotiate because you have the nuclear safety part of it, you have the military part of it, and you have the political. So it's like the three, and until you have them aligned, it took us 2 months. But, in this relatively, gloomy picture that we are seeing, it's a sigh of relief, let's say, that we are going to be able to work and repair. Is the most important line. It's the Dniprovska line, the 750 kilowatt.
So I think we have a final question over there.
Yes, sir.
عيسى طيب from Al Jazeera. IAEA believes Iran had accumulated about 440.9 kilogram of uranium enriched, up 60%
Yes, sir.
before the June 2025.
Yeah.
25 attacks. We talk about the attacks. What does the IAEA know about today, and where that material is, and its condition after the strikes?
Okay.
Thank you.
We assume, I underline, we assume is at the same place where it was when the attacks last year took place. And in general, this is the general conviction. The Iranian authorities have also indicated that. But as I said in my previous answer, we absolutely need to go back and establish that the same amount is there. So this is the condition. Well, I thank you very much. Thanks for having come. I wish you a good weekend, I hope. Thank you.